Hello everyone, I'm Ihara. I believe some of you already know that I moved to 2489. Of course, I've also received many questions asking why I moved to 2489. So, do you hate the new king or something? Because I saw someone mention that Genie and I had migrated to 2489. Let's discuss it in the forum. Actually, I'm not the only player who migrated from 960 to 2489, including Genie, and Lucky also migrated from 960. So today's video is mainly to explain ... Also, let's take a look at the current situation of 960. But first, let's deny something. It wasn't because Cortex became king that I left. I've seen people say it's because Cortex is too young, and the king wasn't attractive enough, which led to some players leaving. As for what others think, I don't know. But to me, it doesn't matter who's king. It just needs someone responsible for leading the kingdom. Unless he's truly terrible at leading the kingdom, then I think Cortex is okay. He shouldn't have any major problems. As for him leading the kingdom, because I see he's managing DC pretty well. So there shouldn't be any major problems with the kingdom. And there are quite a few people who want to assist him. And I've mentioned this before, because he's younger. So he has more time to manage the kingdom. Perhaps I could rule the kingdom better. Because you're older, you don't have the time to manage the entire kingdom. Perhaps the time you have left is, and you're simply handing over other responsibilities to others. You're just a figurehead. So, speaking of the king's schedule, I still trust Cortex more. He'll have more time to take care of things. One of the reasons I left was because there were no more Chinese people. There really are no more Chinese people. I originally thought about staying for one season. You've heard me tell you this before. But there really aren't many left on 960 right now. Those are the players who played KVK with me. For example, Lao Wang, Quill, Brother Wei, and Li Hailong. All of these players have left. No one's at 960 anymore. We used to be able to communicate in Chinese, but now it's completely gone. Maybe there are still some people there, but there's basically no communication with them. This is why I decided to leave. As for those Chinese players who left, where did they go? They all went to 1316. You can see a lot of familiar names on 1316, including Mercury, Farming, and Handsome RCKY. Isn't Blake Chinese? And I'm not sure if this is one of us. Potato, Lizard, Alano, Lao Wang, Alex, formerly Mr. Go's account, Quill. The rest are probably just Smurfs. That's roughly it. This means that most Chinese people have already reached 1316. So, is it possible that 1316 could become 962.0? I don't know what their goal is either. There are 14.2 billion. For example, many players have left 960. So their combat power has also dropped significantly. Silver Imperium once dropped. So what's the current Imperium level? We'll check back later. It's only 14.2 billion now. Even their kill points have dropped significantly. But for a single alliance, their kill points are still relatively high. Because there are still many players with very high kill points. Kill points here, there's still 2.6 trillion. Second highest kill points. Black Mamba has already left. But you can see people like Ahmad Aziz, Haytham, Angvi, and the others all have very high kill points, but are still at 960. And Genie also has an account at 960. But if you're interested, it depends on whether you want me to create the other 960 players. Where are they going? I can create that list, but it'll take some time. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. For example, there are several players in 2489. And there are several players in 2377. If you're interested, like this, tell me more. As for the next reason, it's also the main reason. It's because Chdawa asked me to leave 960. As you all know, my account isn't actually mine. It's Chao's account, so when Chao asked me to leave, I had to leave. The reason he asked me to leave was actually very simple. Because 2489 is preparing a large-scale KVK. I've already explained this to everyone. Because 960 is still sorting things out, so 960 won't be signing up for KVK so soon. But you can see that 2489 has already registered for KVK. This is why I'm coming to 2489 right away, because we probably won't see any large-scale KVKs from 960 anytime soon. Plus, their combat power has dropped significantly, and I forgot to check just now. The 960 is very rare to turn into Silver Imperium. Now, 2489 is actually a bit higher than 960. You can see that 2489's combat power is 17.4 billion. So 960 has successfully lost weight. And 2489's kill points are even higher than 960's, at 3.6 trillion. Because this time's recruitment of immigrants also recruits quite a lot of players with high kill points. Even my kill points here only rank 48. Here's the player with the highest kill points. That was Osmo's account before. Now it's Mega Minion. I'm not sure if this is the new owner. Or is it Black Mamba? I'm a little confused. They're constantly changing names. And they've changed names so many times in a short period of time. And that includes those accounts belonging to Arvix. They're all looking for players with high kill points. You can take a look. Lucky also has high kill points, so our kill points are even higher than 960s. But it's confirmed that if we do successfully match, it should be a fantastic KVK show. Why do I say this? Because someone sorted out the data for our KVK registration this time. This is the data. The image I got is a bit blurry, because I don't know who created this image. I only got one image from 2,489 internally. So you can see which kingdoms registered this time, including 2,377. 2377's kill points are also quite high, at 3.7 trillion. And their combat power ... this should be calculated for the top 300 players. The combat power is 28.3 billion. 1606 is 25.5 billion, which is slightly less. 2,489 is even less, 23 billion. You can see that our kill points are actually similar to 2,377. I think, assuming we're actually on the same map, maybe they'll ask for 2,489 and 2,377 now the Kingdom of Vietnam. I'm not sure how they'll discuss this later. I've heard a lot of people want 2,377 and 2,489. I also think separation would be more reasonable. As for 606, maybe it could cooperate with one of the kingdoms. Or they could split into 3 and fight each other. Even a free-for-all approach would work. And then there's 3,251. I'm also very familiar with Kingdom 3,251. I remember there was a live broadcast of their KVK before. I wasn't very familiar with this kingdom originally. But because Baba recently immigrated to this kingdom. However, their combat power and kill points are relatively low. And including 1719 and 2,217 kill points are also quite close, both around 1.2 trillion. Then the combat power here is relatively close. But based on the data here, 3,251 and 3,535 should also be Imperium. 3,251 are Silver Imperium. Let's see if there are any familiar players in this kingdom. It seems like most players in this kingdom are from the Middle East. I see a familiar name here. It seems to be one of my viewers. This seems to be one of my viewers. If I remember correctly, he sent me some reports before. As for the other players, I'm not very familiar with them. Accident is over here. From what I remember, he was a 960 player. Did he immigrate here? The only player I'm familiar with here is Accident. And there's Alamo. I think this player was also a 960 player before. If I remember correctly. Never use pilots, one-man army. It's best he didn't use a proxy. But 3,535 isn't an Imperium. This is quite surprising to me. I was wondering if they'd go to Imperium. After all, their combat power is pretty high. See if there are any familiar players among the Alliance members. Besides Baba. I believe everyone knows Baba, right? Because I personally feel this kingdom is relatively new. So I might not be very familiar with the players here. Oh, Glock. I should recognize Glock. If he's the same player from level 960, then I know. Then Baba. And I have to say something here. BAVA's account is still 0. This is Attison. His Ataturk account should still have a 1. This is from another account. Okay. This is his main account with 1 billion power. Finally, there's a 1. So, they still gave him a Conqueror's certificate for 365. Finally, he's broken free. But Baghdad directly migrated his 3 accounts over here. So, that's roughly the number of players I know here. I don't know many of them. But I'm still looking forward to this KVK match. So if the match is successful, the map we signed up for this time is New King of Britain. It also has new crystal technology, so it should be pretty fun, right? But it's also due to the map design. So there should be fewer combat scenes. As for levels 4, 7, and the Imperial Court. So, that's why I left 960. Actually, the main reason is that I want to meet the next KVK soon. Because if you stay at 960 forever, there won't be any large-scale KVKs left. You can also see that their combat power and kill points are even lower than 2,489. And I think the most important thing is to find friends to play with. Because I've already told you about 960. Over 80% of the people I don't know. Or maybe we barely interact at all. In this game, I think the most important thing is finding friends to play with. Even now, in 2,489, I have a bunch of Vietnamese friends who play with me. Even Blackhead Christie immigrated here. So I hope to have more fun. That's the true meaning of gaming, right? And people like Genie are here too. Lucky is here too. So there are still some players from before 960. The important thing is, Peaky Peanut is also in this kingdom. Finally, I can argue with him. And Peaky Peanut is also the highest ranked player in 2,489 right now. Wow, my goodness, he's so rich. 360 million. Genie is also really rich. This is Arvis's account. It's normal for Arvis's account to be so rich because he needs to play flags and stuff. So that's roughly what it's like. What do you all think after watching today's video? And what are your thoughts on the current situation of 960? Will they encounter any large-scale KVKs in the future? Because if they continue to rest, the enemy they face next might be 93 again. This is something I don't want to do. Every time I play KVK, I always face 93. I'm tired of playing this game. So please leave your thoughts in the comments section. See you in the next video.